Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I'm Fro, and this is Fro Gets Fit. All right, so for today's vlog, we're gonna do some running. We're gonna go running today. It feels like good. My legs feel good, and it's not too bad outside. Um, again, I don't have my GoPro yet, so I'll have to use the wonderful phone footage, which seemed to work out pretty well last time. So we'll see if we can strike lightning twice in the same spot, I guess, with doing the camera. But what I thought I would do before I go outside and vlog my running is some of the things that maybe someone who's my size and somebody has questions about. Well, how does you start running? Stuff like that. Because you can talk to skinny runners and they'll tell you, oh, they do this or that, but they're not carrying around 3+ bills trying to move their body while they run. So before we get started, thought I would jump in and give you guys a couple of helpful tips on what to do and what you might need to know before you start running if you're if you're an obese person like myself. So let's get to it. All right, well, before I start my run and then stretching, like I said, I wanted to do some tips. So first tip I have for someone who's starting to get running into this is, go slow to go fast. Don't start your run. Don't start set some goal or something where you're gonna try to run 5 miles or something like that. It's an unachievable goal, especially if you haven't started running. I finally got back into it, and I think I'm lucky if I can run maybe 3/4 of a mile before I get tired. So, or my legs hurt, so I have to stretch or something like that. So, set small goals. Say, hey, I want to try to run to my mailbox, or I want to try to run to the end of the block. Something like that, and then slowly build yourself up. I think is a great tip to really help you get back into it. And then always run for a set distance. So, like I said, to a mailbox in the street. Don't start a set time. If you try to go for, I need to run X amount of distance, short amount of time, that's a good way to get yourself hurt and really demotivate you from running a certain distance that you're trying to get to. And the last thing too with that is if you run at least 3 times a week, they'll help build your momentum. Then running to the mailbox or to the road will be really easy for you. And by then you'll start adding on distance faster and faster than you would if you just try to go full go at once. And one thing with that too is it's okay to walk. I still walk myself. It's okay. I like I said, run about 7.8 miles, and then my legs are a little tired, so I stretch and do a little walk, and I go running again. So it's okay. Everyone's gonna run into that, and as you slowly build your distance and your endurance, walking will be less needed because you'll have your muscles will be more used to it, and you'll have the lung capacity to really start carrying you. And you'll probably lose a couple pounds, so you have a little less weight that you need to carry along as you're starting to run. Next tip is, get a good stretch in. Make sure your muscles are warm before you start going. If you start trying to just go run, so I'll put on my running shoes and go run, that's a good way to hurt yourself. So, do a little walking, maybe some quick warm-ups. I know you've seen me my last running video, do some high knees, some, kicks or whatever, just to kind of help warm up, get the blood flowing to the muscles, and then get a good stretch on before you start going running. Next tip I found it's very important is you always need to have a good pair of running shoes. So shoes I use are Zoom Structure 22s. I had 21s was my previous model. Both I find great shoes, and they help me with my running style. So I have a overprovinated, I'm sure I say that wrong, foot, and I have a high arch. So these shoes really help me achieve the comfort running that I need, so I don't have sore knees or a back or my legs or something because I have the wrong shoes on my feet. And with that, if you don't know what kind of running style you have or what shoe you need, go to your local running shoe store. I've been there in the past, and that's how I found out what I was. type of running style I had, and they were able to recommend me a list of shoes to get. So, and running shoes sometimes aren't necessarily the cheapest thing to get, but I think if you make the investment on that, it'll pay dividends long run as you really start getting into running and lose a lot of weight. Fourth one, I think is most important for, at least for myself, stuff I've run into in the past and still run into obviously today, is chafing. So if you don't know what that is, then good for you. But majority of you will probably run into that. And I find it mostly in between my legs I get that issue. So I use some Gold Bond friction defense. So hopefully the camera can see that. And I've used that for years, and that seems to help quite a bit. But if you do run into that, get some cream or something like that, because the last thing you want is that to progressively get worse. It hurts a lot, believe me, and if you don't prevent it or at least treat it once you get it, it'll just make things feel terrible. You'll feel terrible. I prefer to have maybe a sore muscle versus having chafage, because it's just that uncomfortable, at least in my opinion. So make sure you get some cream. It's always good for running protection. The next thing is to keep a vlog. Know how far you're running, and that way you can say, okay, today I ran half mile or even maybe a quarter mile, and then slowly build off of that, so that before you know it, you're running a mile without having to stop, or 2 miles or 3 miles, or whatever your end goal is. That way you can really track yourself and know what you're doing. So and the final tip, for me, I still kind of run into this as I'm working out, is at least outside running, is don't worry about what other people think. So obviously as a heavy person, there's going to be a lot of movement going as you're running along the way, and people might look at you and go, "Ooh, look at that guy," or whatever. But you're running because you have a long-term goal of getting in shape. So if those people will see you now, and then who knows, in 3 months they won't even recognize it, because you've trimmed down so much and really got into running. So those are my tips. For someone who's obese, trying to get back into the running game. So I think now that we've gone through that, let's do some stretching, or I guess a warm-up, do some stretching, and then let's go for a run. All right, so we got about a mile in, and really feeling my calves, so walk it out a little bit here. It feels good. It's not too hot out here today. So you can see I got a little sweat going on here, but I feel pretty good. So I guess we'll keep going and see much further. I'm not sure I'll do a 2-mile run today, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel. So keep going. All right, so we just finished up 1.7 mile run, and I only had to stop to walk once. So that's pretty good for me. So, so I got to go inside and cool down, and we'll close up today's vlog. Wow, 1.7 miles, and I only had to walk once. You know, it's pretty good. You know, last few times I've gone running, I've had to walk 2 or 3 times. So, you know, so I feel pretty good. So, you know, today we, you know, did some stretching, did some running, and we gave you hopefully some great tips that that you guys can use when you start doing your running workouts. You know, and if there's any tip or anything you could think of that maybe helped you, that maybe I should share in maybe the next video, you know, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear, you know, what you guys are doing to help you stay safe and healthy as you start running. And if you like those tips, you know, smash that like button. You know, I want to know that you guys appreciate, you know, tips I'm giving you, and you enjoy the vlog. So, and also subscribe. Click the subscribe button below and hit the bell notification. That'll give you the opportunity to, every time I upload a new video, I'll be notified right away. So with that, I think that ends today's vlog, but I hope to see you next video.